Hey everybody, welcome to this new how to scream video. This video I'm going to be showing you how to fry scream and yell scream, the way I learned how to do it. I have an older video where I showed you how to do this, my yell scream, but it's pretty outdated. I'm going to make the video unlisted so nobody finds it, but I'll leave it in the description if you want to check out the comments because there's a lot of good answers and like questions there. So I'm just going to go over basically just no bullshit. This is how to do it, whatever. I'm going to assume you know what you're doing. Before you start this video, I recommend going and watching a Hungry Lights video about vocal damage. I'm going to leave that in the comments too and in the description. Amazing video. Everybody should watch it. It's really, really good. And it's even helped me tuning my screams and making sure I'm not damaging my voice. But it's super important and it's going to not enlighten you, but it's going to make you realize, oh, I'm either doing this wrong or I'm doing it too much. Just things like that. So go watch the video before you do this one or any of these if you're new. So let's just get into it. The first one I'm going to show you is my yell scream because I feel like it's easier to learn. Traditional fry is really difficult to get into because it's so complex. It's a noise you have to learn how to make and you have to gradually get into it. You can't just be like, oh, that's the noise. Like with false chord is just and you push it. That's all false chord is. And false chord is really easy because it's a noise you already make on the daily, but fry isn't. The only fry noise you make is the grudge noise, which is which you barely do in the first place. You don't really talk like that. So I'm going to teach you the yell first because I assume it's much easier and it's a lot easier to explain. So before you learn how to do the scream, I want to point out, even though the scream isn't based off of the original traditional fry grudge noise of going and then pushing it into your falsetto, it'll definitely help you if you learn how to do that first and can control that, because even though the scream isn't based off that, the noise kind of originates around there and then goes into your chest voice. You'll see that in a little bit when I show you how to do it. The scream is in chest voice. It's not in head voice. It's in your chest. You'll be able to feel it. So don't try to go in your falsetto. It's all in your chest voice, regular talking voice. That's how I learned how to do it. You do use your falsetto for the scream when you go really high, but that's another thing for another day. To give you examples just so you know what they're going to sound like and what they should sound like. So here's my yell scream. Punch yourself, fight! Very loud, very voicey, as you can hear. No effort at all, though. I can do the scream. I don't have to warm up for the scream. It just happens, and it doesn't damage my voice at all. I've been doing it for about 2.5 years, so I think I'm in the clear. So how you activate this noise, how I found it, was I was singing one day, and I tried to hit a note that was out of my range. I'll put a little clip of me learning how to do it right here. Yell screams. Take the highest note you can hit. For me is, so far away from me! You get that noise. It might be easier if you know fry. I know fry. I'm not very good at it, but it might be easier. Take that noise and you push it and you get, hey! This is a yell scream! So the basic premise of it is find the note that's out of your range and push past it, but don't strain yourself. And don't act like you're singing, because I can hit notes higher than the one I like activate my scream with. So the original lyric I learned how to do this on was, I'm pretty sure it's called Room by Fit for a King. It's the lyric, so far away from me! I can hit it now, but I couldn't hit it then. You can kind of hear the, so far away from me! That right there. I'll try to gradually build into it, so it kind of goes, so far away from me! And I'll do it one more time just so you can hear it slowly. So far away from me! Something with the scream too is that it's very, very loud. It's like twice the volume of my false chords and my regular fries. It's okay for this scream to be loud because it's using your clean voice. It's not like just using your false chords, like your false chords, or using the grudge noise for the fry. Because regular fry is so far away from me, which is much quieter. The reason the scream is so loud is because it's using your clean voice. It's using your singing voice, which is why. So it's okay if it's loud. But the longer you do it and the more control you get over it, you're going to be able to tone it back. So originally when I started out, I was putting too much voice into it, and I'll put a little clip of that. These mighty emotions! Forever! It's late! Turning me back to the sea! I can still do that now, but not as much because I can control the scream, but it's kind of just like, so far away from me! You can hear, it kind of sounds a little strained, but I'm definitely pushing too hard. If I push less, so far away from me! It's kind of a lot meatier. And again, you're going to feel all this in your chest. There's going to be nothing, there's going to be little vibrating in your throat. It's all going to be right here though. So that's pretty much it for that scream. Again, the original video I had for the scream, I'm going to leave it in the description because there's a lot of good comments and answers and people just going back and forth about how they learned it and how they're toning it back and how it's working for them. And I recommend before you ask a question, go check that out first because there's a lot of comments. I think there's over 50. A lot of questions. If you do have very specific questions though, go ahead and ask them. I'll try to answer them. So just to recap, you're going to hit a clean note you can't quite hit, but you're not going to strain your voice. When you're at that note you can't quite hit, you don't keep straining your voice. You don't go, so far away. You don't do that. You're not straining. You're going to push it back when you're at that point. So if this is a comfortable note and this is the note I'm trying to hit, instead of trying to go past it, I'm going to say right here and I'm going to go back into my throat. So I'll show you what that sounds like. So far away from me! You kind of go back and then it kind of goes down and sits right here. So that's my yell scream. If you have any concerns about anything or health-wise, go ahead and ask them. I'm not a vocal coach. I don't do this professionally. I just do it for fun. But I've been doing this scream for over 2 years, and I'm completely fine. I can sing. My range has gotten a lot better. I haven't damaged my voice at all. So I think I'm comfortable saying it's a safe scream to do. Just be careful with how you use it, because if you over project with it, you can definitely damage your voice. So the second scream I'm going to show you how I learned to do is the mostly traditional fry. With normal fry, from all the videos I've seen on YouTube, and to my knowledge, all you do is you get the grudge noise and you push in your falsetto and then you project that. However, like the 3 or 4 people personally that I know who've tried to learn that scream, they can't. It just doesn't work. And there's all sorts of stuff online. I'm not claiming to be an expert in any of this, because I'm going to be honest, I don't know how any of it works. I don't know any of the anatomy or anything like that. I'm letting you know what worked and what didn't work for me and the people I know personally, and all the people online that I've tried to help too, because the falsetto grudge for the traditional fry is just, it's very inconsistent. It doesn't work. From everybody that I've talked to online also, they all say that. And everybody's body is different. The way you're going to learn it is different. The way you're going to comprehend it is different. So just experiment. If it doesn't hurt you and it sounds good, that's great. That's, at the end of the day, as long as it's not hurting you, it's okay. The way I learned, because for I would say a good year of practicing the falsetto grudge, I can barely do it anymore because I don't do it. But I was really good at just putting my fry into my falsetto and letting it sit there. But the problem with that is you can push your falsetto. You can go, ah, but it doesn't really work with the fry, because the fry is down here. Your falsetto is the top of your, wherever. And so you're trying to combine them, but it kind of goes back and forth. You can't push it up like with that projected falsetto. So the fry I learned how to do uses your chest voice. It doesn't use any falsetto. It uses the falsetto to get the bass, and then it hops back down into your chest voice. So I'm going to do a little demo for you real quick of what that sounds like. So far away from me! One thing with this scream is you're going to be using a lot of force, but not a lot of air. So just be careful with how much you project, because you're not going to get that much air out without breaking the sound, but you're also going to be pushing a lot. Just don't hurt yourself doing it. The way I came across it was honestly just experimenting and listening to vocalists who use fry like that and trying to mimic what they sound like. It definitely helps when you know how to do a scream like the yell, because it partly uses the grudge noise fry. So you already have a slight idea of what you're doing, and that's really how I came across it. I'll try to explain how I do it. It's going to be a little hard because honestly, it kind of just comes out. So I'm going to build into the scream, and you can kind of hear the transient, how it's very voicey, and it's like sitting up here with my falsetto, and then it goes back down as I build into it. So that right there. But it's not going like that. It's more up and back. I'll try to build into that slowly. It's right there. You can hear at the beginning I go, and then I go up and back. And then it goes back forward and down. So far away from me! And you can kind of hear how it loses all of that voiciness. It just goes away. So something else I'm going to recommend, which a lot of videos I've seen on YouTube do, is taking a pencil or pen or just having like an imaginary line in your mouth. And when you're doing screams, you put it in your mouth and you try to imagine going over it, which is going to help you a lot. When I first heard about it, when I was learning how to scream, I was like, this is dumb. This is stupid. This isn't going to get me anywhere. I don't understand it. But trust me, once you try to imagine your voice as like going up and down and going all over the place in your mouth, it kind of visualizes where it should be. And when people are telling you go up or go back or go down, you're like, oh, okay, I know what it feels like to be back in my throat or up ahead or up above. And putting this in your mouth and trying to push it over that and just experimenting helps a lot. And a couple of people that I know personally have done that. And it, as stupid as it sounds and how little you think it's going to work, it actually will help you. It might take a little bit of getting used to, but it's definitely at least worth trying. If it doesn't work for you, it doesn't. That's okay. At the end of the day, it's not changing the sound at all. It's just helping you visualize and getting it over that pencil and just learning how to position your voice like in your, this area. From the people I've talked to, when you learn Fry like this, sometimes the lows are hard to get. I don't mean it was the same with me. I don't know what it is with where the scream is positioned at. It's just so hard to transform it and make it go lower. And I cannot go high with these. I'll show you. So far away from me! Like, those are kind of high. I don't know what it is, but the second I try to go up, it goes in my falsetto, which is where it shouldn't be, where the scream isn't. And so it breaks. And the only high screams I really use are my yell highs, just because those are easy, and those do go into falsetto. So anyways, for the lows, the way I learned how to do it, honestly, was just messing around. The biggest thing is the shape of your mouth. Of course, you want to make it smaller. Everybody knows that. That's how you're supposed to do it. So I'm just going to go from a mid to like a mid with a small mouth shape. So, and you can hear that's kind of, it's a little low, but it's just like a low mid. So far away from me! The biggest thing to help me learning the scream and how to do the lows for the scream especially are listening to Spencer from Underoath and just listening to his low screams, because they're so easy to like decipher. I don't know if that's the right word, but you kind of listen to it and you go, oh, it sounds like he's doing this. And I'll just show you what mine sound like. So far away from me! They're not super, super low, but they do sound a lot like his. And I'll do a lyric from one of their songs just so you can hear the similarities. What are you so afraid of? I don't know the rest of the song. I don't listen to them that much. The biggest thing with the low screams is just toying around with it, honestly. That's how I figured it out. I only figured out how to do those low screams like a month ago. And I usually place my tongue like a little bit up and then pushed back slightly. Not like tunnel throat, kind of pushing it all the way back, just a little bit up and back. So just to recap on this scream, I'm going to show you how to do it gradually, and then I'll go over the rest. What are you? So again, it starts out like this. The transient is my falsetto grudge fry, but pushed a little bit, and then it goes back and down a little bit, and you can hear that. What are you? Like that. So I'm going to give you like a couple basic sounds you can use to try to get this scream. You can try doing something like this. What are you so afraid of? And it sounds stupid, but it kind of, the more you do it, you get the, what are you so afraid of? You get that little bit of grit in there, and that's like down here a little bit. It's basically like the full scream, but toned way down. What are you so afraid of? What are you so afraid of? With this scream, you're definitely going to want to learn how to do the grudge push into the falsetto, because even though it's not the full scream, it's definitely part of it, and it's definitely pretty much the base of it. But it's, to my knowledge, it's a lot different than the ones online, at least from what I know, because all the videos I watched, it's just push into falsetto, and that's it. There's a scream for you. And I know a lot of people describe their scream, their fry scream like that. A lot of people do, but I don't think that's really what it is. It's kind of just like how you learn how to do it, and then you push it down in your chest voice. Something else you can do is once you have the grudge fry and your falsetto down, try going like this. With that, all I'm doing is going, and then I'm pushing up and back a little bit, but slightly. You don't want to do it with a lot of force. And then another cool thing with this scream is you can kind of just mess around with it a lot, because at the end of the day, it is using part of your voice. So it's a lot easier to integrate notes into it and just like gritty yells. So I'll give you an example. Time has gone, it's now time! And you can hear how tight and constrained that is. You can also push it into like a little bit of false chord distortion for your clean vocals. Time has gone, it's now time! And you kind of get the same noise, but it's a little bit further down. And then I'm not very good at them yet, but this is also how I learned how to do my pitch screams. And I'll just give you a little demo of that. I'm not good at them, but I think I've got the basic technique down. I've been feeling nothing! So I think at the end of the day, that's pretty much it. Again, I highly recommend you check out my older screaming video. Even though it's outdated and it's not explained as well, it definitely has a lot of good info still. And especially the comments, I highly recommend you check out the comments, because even if your question isn't in there, there's 100 other ones that'll help you out. I guarantee it. And something else too, especially with the second fry I taught you how to do, it took me forever to get that noise. Regular fry took me probably 2 years to get the noise down. This isn't going to come overnight. The yell scream might, just because the yell scream is a lot easier. But take it slow. Don't feel like you have to get it in one day. Time goes by so fast when you're learning how to do vocals and you're doing them. It seemed like just yesterday I learned how to false chord, and I've been doing it for like 5 years now. So just take your time with it, and don't rush it. There's no point in rushing it because it's not going to change anything. If you can't do the sound, you can't do the sound, right? I'm not trying to come off as like an expert. I'm not a vocal coach. I've never been to a vocal coach. I've never had vocal lessons. I've just been doing this for a minute, and I have some vocalists personally that I know have been doing it for twice as long as me, and they've given me tips and kind of guided me through it. However, even though I have no certifications and I'm not a vocal coach and I've never had vocal lessons, try not to let people online tell you you're doing something wrong unless you are doing something wrong. There are people on my old Yell video saying that it's just not safe or it's going to destroy your voice, but they don't give any specific reason. It's kind of just like, oh, you're doing it wrong because I don't do it that way. I had some guy tell me I was doing false chord wrong a couple of years ago because I couldn't hold an 8-second pig squeal, but I'm still doing false chord perfectly fine and more techniques. However, if you go somewhere like the Screaming subreddit or the Screaming Discord, the guys over there do know what they're talking about. So if you have somebody who actually knows what they're talking about, correct you or tell you you're doing something wrong, or they tell you that my techniques are wrong and they're unsafe, that's perfectly fine and that's okay. And I would believe them because they know what they're talking about. But don't let some random guy on YouTube tell you you're doing it wrong or you shouldn't do it this way unless he gives you a good reason. Just to reiterate, not a vocal coach, never had vocal lessons. I don't really know the nitty-gritty details of what I'm doing, and I'm not trying to act like I am. But at the end of the day, as long as it doesn't hurt and there's no feeling at all when you do it, bad feeling like scratchiness or itching or anything like that, most likely you're not doing it wrong and it's okay. And even if it is, there's 100 million other techniques out there you can learn, so don't get discouraged. I think that's pretty much it though. If you have any questions, leave them below. Ask around, ask other people who are learning how to do it. Go check out my old screaming video. Go watch Hungry Lights video on vocal damage. Go check out Andy Sazek's screaming videos. Those are really good, and he's an amazing vocalist. I would trust him 100% because he does vocal lessons. He's really, really good. I'll leave those too. So I think that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching. Have fun screaming. Good luck out there.